Chelsea is taking on Tottenham today. This is one of the London derbies that everyone would like to watch, especially if at all you're really a good person who really watches this game of football, game in, game out. And for you, welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Chelsea won its first game against Everton by 1-0. It was not a result that really came out to paint a good picture of how really Chelsea played, but Chelsea really had a very ugly game on that day. But Spurs got a convincing win against a side which goes by names of Tottenham, not Southampton, 4-1. Ward-Prowse was on target first, then Sessegnon equalized, then Dia, then Kulsevich, and then an own goal from a defender of a side which goes by the names of Southampton. So as things stand, it's Chelsea going to take on a side which goes by the names of Spurs here onto Rokani Media Football. And right about now, Nottingham Forest has just beaten West Ham by 1-0. Remember, Declan Rice just put the penalty into the hands of a player who goes by the name of Dean Henderson, a keeper who's on loan from Manchester United. And very many people are really so much looking at this guy because they see him as a player who should be the replacement of David De Gea. David De Gea shouldn't be part of the starting 11 of Manchester United. So lots of things are really happening at Manchester United, but you know that United lost yesterday by 4-0 at a side which goes by the names of Brentford Community Stadium. Obviously, lots of things need to be addressed, and you know what that means. But today, Chelsea versus Spurs, the biggest game of the weekend. Most of you are highly anticipating this game, but what have the managers done? The managers have gone ahead to bring us the starting 11s of their lineups. And here, onto the Rokani Media Football. Without further ado, allow me bring you the lineup of a team which goes by the names of Chelsea as they really prepare to play a side which goes by the names of Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea are having Eduardo Mendy in goal. Remember, they play a system of 3-4-2-3-1, and they're having three central defenders: Reece James, Thiago Silva, Kalidou Koulibaly. Those are the three defenders who are going to play the central defense. Thiago Silva playing in the center of the three central defenders. Reece James playing on the right side of the central defense, with Koulibaly playing on the left side of the central defense. Then he's having two fullbacks. Sorry, these are wing backs. Loftus-Cheek playing as a right wing back. Then Cucurella playing as a left wing back. So Cucurella is just the latest signing of Chelsea from a side which goes by names of Brighton. They signed him for how much? For £62 million. You get £55 million plus £7 million of add-ons. The most expensive fullback in the world is Marc Cucurella, and I think he really deserves it. Then we're having N'Golo Kante playing with Jorginho into that midfield pivot. You know that very well. Then Mason Mount and Kai Havertz playing as the two attacking midfielders for Chelsea, with Raheem Sterling leading the line. Obviously, they're lacking strikers. They're in for Aubameyang. Let's wait and see whether that deal of Aubameyang will come to materialization. Now, that is Chelsea. Therefore, everyone is now asking, how is Spurs lining up? Spurs is lining up as follows. This is how Spurs is lining up for you. Spurs has Harry Kane. Sorry, they have Hugo Lloris in goal. They're also playing the same system as Chelsea, 3-4-2-1. They're having three central defenders. Romero, my best. I wish he came in at Manchester United. Then there is Dyer and Ben Davies. Those are the three central defenders, the side which goes by the names of Chelsea. Then Emerson is playing as a right wing back. Sessegnon is playing as a left back. Hogberg and Bentancur are playing as midfielders in a double midfield pivot. Then Song Heung-min and Kulusevski are playing as the attacking midfielders. Then Harry Kane is leading the line, the side which goes by the names of Chelsea. Sorry, Spurs. So when you look at all these teams, they've brought their best. And let's go to the substitutes and see who is having who on the bench. On the bench, obviously, Chelsea are having Kepa Arrizabalaga, Christian Pulisic, Trevor Chalobah, Amadou Broja, Carlson Odoi. Remember, he put in a transfer request once to leave the side which was with Chelsea. Ben Chilwell on bench after Chichwila comes in through. Hakimi Ziyech. This one is wanted by Manchester United and AC Milan. Conor Gallagher and Cesar Azpilicueta. Then We are having Martin Doute for Spurs, Davison Sanchez, Richarlison is now back. Remember, he was having a suspension. Then Brian Gill, Ivan Perisic, Fraser Foster. This is the second choice goalkeeper. Then Tanganga, Lucas Torreira, and Yefis Besoma. So when you look at all these teams, their benches are really commanding, and they send fear if at all you are really a team that you're playing against Chelsea or playing against Spurs, because they are really commanding. According to me, they are really good central. It's good. They're having good benches that are really going to help them get something out of this game. So this game is really tricky because Antonio Conte was at Chelsea, you get, and when you're talking about him coming here at a side which goes by the names of the Stamford Bridge, he knows what really happens here. But obviously, it's something about the new Spurs. Spurs looks like it's one of those teams that is ready to get into this season, to come in and really challenge for the title even. Even Daniel Levy, the owner of Spurs, came out and confirmed that he has never appointed a manager as good as Conte. You get? That's what the owner really said. And he really believes that they are really getting near to the trophy. Obviously, when you look at the squad that Spurs are really having, it's a squad that really competes for the trophy. If at all you're having Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Richarlison, Yefis Bissouma, Perisic, Kulusevski, you're having Benta, we're having Yefis Bissouma, you have to compete for the trophy. You get? Because this is where Antonio Conte comes in through. Antonio Conte is a winner. He's a born winner. He's one of those managers, you know, that, you know, having him at his team. Yes, because this is where Antonio Conte comes in. Antonio Conte is a born winner. Just know that he's really a born winner, and I really believe that people are really not getting the grip of this guy. But this guy is a born winner, and as things stand, he is really going to put up my audio. I don't know why. All right, I don't put on my sounded bad. All right, I think now you are hearing me very well. I think how am I sounding is okay, isn't it? I don't put on my sounded bad. All right. Yeah, I think now you guys are really getting my microphone. Now, what I was telling you was that Antonio Conte is really a very good manager. He's really a very good manager that can really challenge and take Spurs to the levels of being champions for the very first time, because ever since I watched football, I've never seen Spurs winning the Premier League. Have they ever won any trophy? I've not seen them win any trophy, but the best success they got, I think they sometimes finished second, and they spent like 3 seasons into the top 4. Then what happened next at Spurs was they played a Champions League finale with Liverpool, where Liverpool beat them by, was it 3-1? So I think those were the achievements, and they achieved them under Pochettino. Now, Antonio Conte comes in through a side which goes by names of Spurs with a different vibe altogether. You get? And he's really different. Now, we look at the side of Chelsea. They've brought in the following players. They've brought in Kalidou Koulibaly, Cucurella, and Raheem Sterling. All of those 3 players they've signed are into the starting 11 of a side which goes by the names of Chelsea. But Chelsea really has a problem to address. They need to address that center forward position, because right now they are playing with a player who goes by Raheem Sterling as a false number 9. You get? That's the problem. Lukaku was here. He didn't thrive in this system. You get? Yet Lukaku is one of the proven strikers we've known in the world for some good time. Now, they're having Amado Broja. He's on the bench. That means the manager doesn't trust him, because in such games, this is when you get to know which player the manager trusts. You get? At the look of things, the manager that does not trust Amad Broja. He doesn't trust him at all. So that's what the manager, that's the message the manager is sending to Amad Broja, that I don't trust you. That's it. He doesn't trust him at all. So after everything that has been laid down by Thomas Tuchel, I really believe that he needs to find means of really getting his strikers play more into the system and really benefiting it. Because in a system like this, you need a striker like Harry Kane, who gets himself involved in play a lot. You get? But when you have Lukaku, Lukaku isn't a striker who gets himself in play a lot. You get? Timo Werner would have thrived in the system, but he never trusted him to play as a center forward to lead the line, because Timo Werner can drop deep, get that ball, and really get other players involved. So even Sterling is not going to do this as a false 9 very well. He won't. Do you know why? He can't do what Harry Kane does. You get? You need strikers. You see what Anton Martial does at Manchester United, what he did the preseason. Those are type of strikers you need in such a system when you are really you're playing this system. You need to get a striker who is a ball-playing striker, not this orthodox number 9. Even if you're having Haaland in this system, he can't thrive because Lukaku came in here. Chances we are not seeing. Because when you look at this system, let me show you. Let me get back to the screen and I'll show you. When you look at this system of Chelsea, you need to be having the creative force. The most creative force comes in from the wing back. This is Loftus-Cheek and Chicharella. You get Kai Havertz and Mount are so much playing inside in the central axis of the midfield. You get such that they leave these wide areas, as you see them here. They leave these wide areas because these are the wide areas. This is the wide area. You get Loftus-Cheek utilizes this space and Chicharella utilizes this space. You get these wide areas are left open for Chicharella and Loftus-Cheek to create. Now, if you're not having a center forward who is really so much good when it comes to really doing a hold-up play or really playing with his back or getting himself involved in play, then you'll miss out on the services of him, especially when scoring. That happened to Lukaku. He can't get you the goals you want. And you come here and say, all right, he's not getting us the goals that we want. He's not what we want, because you don't know what exactly you want. You get? That's it. So when you look at the system, obviously, you have to know that a striker will always come in through and be sacrificed sometimes, especially when you are having strikers like Lukaku that are really orthodox number 9s, because Lukaku is an in and out number 9. He doesn't get himself involved in play. His game is to really create chances and is going to score goals. But in this system, you just have to get in a striker who is good on the ball, who can drop deep like Harry Kane. You see him at a side which goes by names of Spurs, who can drop deep. And after dropping deep, he gets into those positions of really creating for other players. You get? So you are going to see a very big difference at Spurs nowadays. You remember last season, Son Heung-min outscored Harry Kane. Son Heung-min outscored Harry Kane because Kulusevski and Son Heung-min have very many chances of really scoring, because by the time they're having the ball and entering the box of the opponent, they are having loads of numbers with them. The likes of Chicharella will be in. The likes of Reece James will be in. You get? But the center forward is always not in position to go in and score these goals, because it's rare for him to get those chances. This system does not really create very many chances for what we call the center forward. And it so much differs from a 3-5-2. A 3-4-2-1 is different from a 3-5-2, because in a 3-5-2, you are having 3 midfielders whose aim is to feed the 2 center forwards that are leading the line. You get? But in a 3-4-2-1, the center forward who's leading the line, like Harry Kane is doing today, has lots of things to do. You get? To see to it that he really scores. You get? Because the system is not built on him. The system is built on the midfield and the wing backs. They're the engine of the system. So if at all you are like Lukaku, an orthodox number 9, you can't thrive in this. So today, if Chelsea is really to get a result out of this game, they need to do the following. 1, they need to see a player who goes by the names of, they need to see a player who goes by names of Sterling playing a lot in this game. He needs to drop down a lot to get himself involved in play if at all they really want to get into what we call results into this game of football. Now I'm having my brother known as Baba Musa is telling me that what's going on with your Man United? For the first time, you are going to lose 3 games in a row. I don't see you beating Liverpool next week. Obviously, if at all you want to get to know, look for a channel known as United Matters channel. I've broken everything and put it down on paper. So I think we should respect the viewers of Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. But obviously, I can give you a grip that I told the supporters of United that don't expect a lot, provided we don't strengthen that midfield of Manchester United. Lots of things are not going away. You see, when you look at Chelsea and Spurs, this game is really going to be a total balance. Do you know why? All of their midfields are really strong. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea, Chelsea are having, let me show you. Let me show you the midfield of Chelsea. Chelsea, look at Chelsea. Chelsea, look at Chelsea. Chelsea are having Conte and Jorginho in a double midfield pivot. That is Chelsea. Those are certified midfielders. You know that very well. World class, for your own information. Look at Spurs. Spurs are having Hogberg and Bentancur. They even have a Yefis Besuma on their bench. Those are certified midfielders who have really played in this area for a very long time. So I tell you, the problem of Manchester United starts from the midfield, and secondly, the choice of players that the manager makes. You cannot choose Harry Maguire over Rafael Varane, because for me, I rank Harry Maguire the worst defender at Manchester United. Secondly, you can't come in and really put on Rashford on the pitch when he's not performing. Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, all those should be on the bench. He should change his starting 11 to see that United really gets where it's supposed to be. So, back to the Chelsea game, I really believe that the midfield battle is really going to be very much interesting. If at all you know what the midfield is all about, it's the engine room. You get? That's where everything happens. And when you look at all their midfield, they're really strong. But one thing that Spurs is having that Chelsea is lacking, it's a Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a man who has thrived a lot in the system, and he changed the way he was playing during the era of Jose Mourinho. Remember that very well. Jose Mourinho is the one who started to tell Harry Kane to drop deep and then get himself involved into play. Harry Kane was an out, he was out and out center forward. You know that very well. But when Jose Mourinho came in, he told him, please, you can do better. We can do better. Don't play like this. We can play like this. You get? He changed him. And I think it's benefiting him a lot in this game of football. So according to me, I really believe that the difference in this game is going to be Harry Kane. Harry Kane is going to be the difference in this game. And if Chelsea are to do anything in this game, they need to find means of really suffocating Harry Kane. But how are you going to suffocate him? Because he's mobile. He's mobile. He's like a Karim Benzema. He's like Gabriel Jesus. He's a mobile striker. He's not going to be there waiting for the ball to come. He drops deep. You get? He drops deep. And after dropping deep, he really creates chances for his fellow teammates. But before I really go into what you guys are really requesting for, most of you, let me show you this, because you need to know this before we go into this game as we really get ready, because we are left with how many minutes to really get into this game. Now, look at that. That is what we call the head-to-head. 60 Premier League games have been played in between these two sides. 60 Premier League games have been played in between these two sides. Chelsea has won 33. Spurs has won 7. Meaning Chelsea are really having a very big edge over this. Meaning that this game has produced 20 draws and 40 wins, but 33 going to Chelsea. Then look at goals. Chelsea has scored 108 goals in this fixture, and Tottenham Hotspur has scored 55 goals in this fixture. You get? 27 clean sheets for Chelsea, and Tottenham has kept 9 clean sheets. Obviously, you have Chelsea having an edge over this. Now, they're telling us that since losing consecutive Premier League games against Tottenham in 2018, Chelsea are unbeaten in 7 games against them, conceding only 1 goal in that run. Spurs have won just 1 of their 37 away matches against Chelsea. Harry Kane has scored 41 Premier League goals in London derbies. However, he failed to score in any of his past appearances against Chelsea. You get? So what does that show you? That Harry Kane has not scored against Chelsea in their previous 7 games they've played. So it shows you that we are in for a very good ride. I'm having Tambi Jimuze telling us that I guess it's going to be a hard game for Chelsea. However, I want them to win. Obviously, I think Tambi Jimuze is an Arsenal supporter. He would have been going in for a draw. Thank you guys for watching in. We are going to return when this game has ended with a match reaction and highlights in the for you. Rock and David is my name. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we upload.